This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
The time is 8:45 p.m. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Here is the news edited by Anjana Dodamgoda and read by Tilani Pires. The headlines. The President launches Capital Market Club initiative in 100 schools. The State Minister of Finance says permission granted to import 6,900 vehicles despite the ban. Sinopec Lanka has officially commenced business operations and started fuel supply. The bus service from Anuradhapura railway station to the Attamastana begins. And on international news, Johannesburg building fire, death toll exceeds over 70 in South Africa. And on sports news, Asia Cup 2023, Bangladesh all out for 164 in 42.4 overs against Sri Lanka. President Ranil Wickremesinghe has emphasized the dual importance of technology and financial literacy for the next generations as Sri Lanka moves towards becoming a developed nation by 2048. Speaking at the inauguration of the Capital Market Club program at the Nugawala Central College in Kandy today, President Wickremesinghe disclosed key plans for this transformative journey. Among President's notable announcements was the integration of the central bank's reports into schools for discussion. To facilitate this, the Central Bank of Sri Lanka is set to introduce a comprehensive training program for teachers and student leaders. The initiative aims to bolster awareness of the stock market and enhance financial literacy among students across the nation. The collaborative effort behind this program involves the Presidential Secretariat, the Minister of Education and Securities Exchange Commission and the Colombo Stock Exchange. Meanwhile, traditional note of successfully ending the Kandy Asala Perahara was handed over to the President by the Diyavadana Nilame Pradeep Nilangadala at the President's house, Kandy, this evening. All participants were rewarded and the elephant Sindhu was treated with fresh fruits by the President. Sinopec Lanka has officially commenced business operations and started fuel supply at its first franchising filling station in the Mattegoda West province of Sri Lanka. This has taken a significant step towards enhancing Sri Lanka's energy landscape. Sinopec initiated the first round of market promotion measures with a pump discount of 3 rupees per litre for petrol and diesel. Its supply plan is in motion to progressively hand over all 150 filling stations to Sinopec's management before October. Prior to the commencement, dealers extend great support during the process of signing the dealership agreements. The State Minister of Finance, Ranjit Siyambalapitiya, says permission was granted to import 6,900 vehicles for special purposes during the period in which Sri Lanka had banned the imports of vehicles. The State Minister Ranjit Siyambalapitiya said 3,000 vehicles, among them were jeeps and three-wheelers, needed for the police department. The ban on the import of vehicles was imposed due to the forex shortage since the COVID-19 crisis. The State Minister of Finance, Ranjit Siyambalapitiya, expects the government to gradually lift the vehicle import restrictions altogether, while limits on vehicle spare parts have also been lifted with the stabilization of the economy. This news broadcast comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. A special passenger bus service from the Anuradhapura railway station to the Jayashree Mahabodhi was launched from the Anuradhapura railway station on a special request made by the Anuradhapura Attamasthanidipati, Venerable Pallegama Hemaratana Thera from Transport, Highways and Mass Media Minister Dr. Bandula Gunawardena yesterday. Accordingly, the commencement of this bus service, devotees will have the opportunity to travel from the railway station to the Jayashree Mahabodhi for 50 rupees. The bus is scheduled to run 15 times a day, according to a railway bus integrated timetable system. Ruwan Mahasaya and Jayashree Mahabodhi from the Anuradhapura railway station. There has been a need for pilgrims and tourists, especially on poor days and weekends, to come to worship the Anuradhapura sacred city, including the Attamastana, without any obstruction at a minimum cost from the railway station to the Jayashree Mahabodhi. Critical news about this was published through various media, and Minister Dr. Bandula Gunawardena had given instructions to the Sri Lanka Transport Board officials to start a new bus service from Nikini Poyade. The cultural arm of the High Commission of India in Colombo, Swami Vivekananda Cultural Centre, observed the World Sanskrit Day for the first time in Colombo today. An academic and cultural event was held at the Bandaranaike Centre for International Studies, BMICH Colombo today at 2 p.m. That ends local news for now.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
President Ranil Wickremesinghe, addressing the forum on Sri Lanka's sustainable development, trajectories and pathways, expressed unwavering confidence in Sri Lanka's potential to develop independently and alleviate the burden on external assistance. The President underscored the importance of diversifying financial resources beyond traditional channels. President Wickremesinghe emphasized that Sri Lanka's reliance extends beyond financing solely from multilateral development banks. The engagement of the private sector, along with encouraging investments, has been identified as a crucial factor in generating the necessary funds to drive the country's sustainable development initiatives. In a bid to foster competitiveness and navigate economic challenges, President Wickremesinghe highlighted Sri Lanka's proactive efforts to overhaul its economy. Drawing inspiration from successful models such as Thailand, Indonesia and Vietnam, the nation seeks to attract foreign investments and capitalize on emerging markets. President Wickremesinghe's address at the Sustainable Development Forum conveyed an unwavering commitment to self-reliance, economic transformation and sustainable growth, positioning Sri Lanka on a trajectory of progress and resilience. That was the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
Watch Live is brought to you by
CIB Janajaya Vasana. Unbelievable discounts and offers throughout August from CIB Janajaya Vasana. Come today itself.
And on Watch Light tonight, in the wake of a new patient with meningococcal disease being found from the Colombo district, the health authorities have requested people to be alert on the symptoms of the disease. According to health officials, the common symptoms of the meningococcal disease include fever, chills, fatigue, vomiting, cold hands and feet. The disease was initially detected at the Galle prison. That came to you in Watchlight.
CIB Janajaya Vasana. Unbelievable discounts and offers throughout August from CIB Janajaya Vasana. Come today itself.
Moving on with world news and the headlines first. Johannesburg building fire, death toll exceeds over 70 in South Africa. USA warns North Korea against selling weapons to Russia for Ukraine war. Department of Health and Human Services of America has called on the Drug Enforcement Agency to loosen federal rules on cannabis. At least 73 people have died after a fire broke out in a block of flats in Johannesburg, South African authorities say. More than 50 others are injured. Johannesburg authorities say it's unclear what sparked the blaze at the 5-story building in the city centre. A spokesman said people injured who were transported to various healthcare facilities for further medical care. At least 7 children were among those killed by the flames in what is on track to become one of the deadliest fires worldwide in recent years. The White House has warned North Korea against selling ammunition to Russia for its war in Ukraine as tension between Pyongyang and Washington continue to mount. White House National Security spokesperson John Kirby said on Wednesday that the United States is concerned about potential arms deals between Russia and North Korea. Kirby added that the U.S. believes Russia's defense minister Sergei Shoigu tried to convince Pyongyang to sell artillery ammunition to Moscow when he visited North Korea and met with its leader Kim Jong-un in July. The U.S. has been warning its competitors and adversaries, including China, against helping Russia in its military offensive in Ukraine. The U.S. Department of Health and Human Services has called on the Drug Enforcement Agency to loosen federal rules on cannabis. The drug is illegal at the federal level, despite 40 or 50 U.S. states have passed laws legalizing it using in some form. Cannabis is currently listed in the same class of drugs as heroin and LSD. Back to the world news headlines. The Johannesburg building fire, death toll exceeds over 70 in South Africa. USA warns North Korea against selling weapons to Russia for Ukraine war. The Department of Health and Human Services of America has called on the Drug Enforcement Agency to loosen federal rules on cannabis. That ends World News.
Development News is brought to you by
Job opportunities for well-experienced housemaids and home cooks in Saudi Arabia and Kuwait for ages 40 to 58 years. Salary 125,000 rupees. Contact 037 7500 500.
And on development news, under the Kandy Strategic City Development Project, the supervisory manager building complex has been constructed at a cost of 80 million rupees. The office complex has been constructed to replace the old office building that is on the land earmarked for the construction of multi-modal transport hub. This division carries out construction and repairs of buildings and bridges belonging to the railway department along the lines of the from Mathale to Navalapitiya. That came to you in development news.
Job opportunities for women from Deshakti Lanka in Saudi Arabia, Kuwait and Oman. Housemaids and home cooks in Saudi Arabia, ages 40 to 58 years. Arabic speaking and well experienced home cooks. Salary 125,000 rupees. Interviews are now on with foreign agents. You can travel overseas free of charge now. Branches Colombo, Kurunegala, Anuradhapura and Matara. Contact number 0377 500 500. Deshakti Lanka Foreign Employment Agency.
And on sports news, Bangladesh all out for 164 in 42.4 overs against Sri Lanka at the Pallekele Stadium and Najbul Shantur 89-122. Sri Lanka was chasing 96 in 33 overs short while ago, and Sri Lanka was 69 for 3 wickets. Earlier today, Bangladesh won the toss and opted to bat first against Sri Lanka in the second match of the Asia Cup 2023 today at the Pallekele International Cricket Stadium, Kandy, Sri Lanka. That ends sports news.
Go ekak thiyana youth eකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න ඇස් වහගෙන දැකපු හීන හැබැ කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all-new NSB Ithru Mithru account, NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
The Hambantota International Port has joined hands with the Ministry of Youth Affairs Small Enterprises Development Division to bring about progressive change for entrepreneurs in the Hambantota district. As a forward-thinking organization committed to the well-being of the community, HIPG is dedicated to creating meaningful opportunities for small-scale entrepreneurs in our region. The seafair supported by HIP will showcase authentic local products, mostly indigenous to the Hambantota district, that will be attractive to cruise passengers disembarking at the port. That ends business news.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Go ekak thiyana youth eකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න ඇස් වහගෙන දැකපු හීන හැබැ කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all-new NSB Ithru Mithru account, NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
As of yesterday, tourist arrivals to Sri Lanka have surpassed 900,000. In contrast, for the entirety of 2022, Sri Lanka recorded 719,978 tourist arrivals as per data released by the Sri Lanka Tourist Development Authority. More than 100,000 visitors each have arrived from India and Russia in 2023, while the number of visitors from the United Kingdom and Germany has surpassed 50,000 each. Meanwhile, more than 100,000 visitors each arrived in the country in the first 4 months of 2023. Moreover, according to the SLTDA data, 123,285 tourists have visited Sri Lanka thus far in August. That was economic news.
Weather report.
There is a possibility of enhancing the prevailing showery condition in the southwestern part of the island during the 1st, 2nd and 3rd of September. Showers will occur at times in the western, Sabragamua, southern, central and northwestern provinces. Heavy showers above 100 millimeters are likely at some places in the western and Sabragamua provinces and in Galle and Mathura districts. Showers or thunder showers will occur at several places in the eastern and Nuwa province and in Polonnaruwa, Vavuniya and Mullaitivu districts during the night. That was the weather report. And now to in this news broadcast, the main points once again. The President launches Capital Market Club initiative in 100 schools. The State Minister of Finance says permission granted to import 6,900 vehicles despite the ban. Sinopec Lanka has officially commenced business operations and started fuel supply. The bus service from Anuradhapura railway station to Attamasthana begins. And on international news, Johannesburg building fire, death toll exceeds over 70 in South Africa. And on sports news, Asia Cup 2023, Bangladesh all out for 164 in 42.4 overs against Sri Lanka. Bangladesh all out for 164 in 42.4 overs against Sri Lanka. That ends this news broadcast.